to the neighborhood where it feels like your childhood. Your friendly neighborhood buy gives it her all, bringing you the local haul. All kinds of comics, classic and new, Marvel, DC, and indies too. Readers and creators in unity. Welcome to our community.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the neighborhood, and welcome back to your friendly neighborhood comic show. I'm your host, Lauren, your friendly neighborhood bye, and every week here we keep hope, give help, and share comics with all. It's my little cheesy saying coming from Supergirl. And this week our theme is comics and comedy. It's our 9th episode, or Huddle. So thank you all for tuning in, checking it out. Two little housekeeping things I wanted to do before we get to our neighborhood check-in and get the show started and bring on our lovely guests and everything. So as you guys probably know, if you follow my Twitter, I'm a huge fan of the Legend of Tomorrow show, and I enjoyed the Batwoman show as well. And unfortunately, both those shows were just canceled by the CW. So even though this is a comic show, these shows kind of tie into the comics, and they're really important to me. So I just wanted to, give a little shout out to them. And everybody that I know is also upset by these cancellations. Hopefully there's some way these shows can get, some final wrap-ups, because, that's really the thing they didn't get, was a final wrap-up. I'm wearing my shirt with Sarah Lance quotes on it today. But the one quote that's not on it that she said that I think is really important right now is legends never go quietly. So even if you think there's no hope things are going to come back, if you are upset and you would like to see some closure or something, shout it out, throw it up on Twitter, write articles, post videos, whatever works for you. Because just like our comics, if there's something that you believe is worth fighting for, you 100% should. So that's the real serious note I wanted to check on today, because again, really important to me. The other housekeeping thing I want to do real quick is just to remind you guys that we are doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers. So once we get 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel, we're gonna give away some Spidey comics, we're gonna give away some indie comics, and if I'm really feeling it, I might throw some more in there. I have a ton of comics to give away. So get your friends to subscribe to the channel, all that really great stuff. Just, they don't even have to watch the videos, even though of course I would love for them to. Just tell them to subscribe. If they have 3 accounts, tell them to subscribe on 3 YouTube accounts, because once we hit that 100 subscribers, you could get some really awesome free comics. So be sure to do that. And without further ado, let's just get into it, because I know you guys are excited. You guys want to play the game today. We've got a game of Who Said It. I pulled some comments from you guys off Twitter, some suggestions of funny comics. I pulled some lines from them. It's going to be really fun to see who remembers their own comics. We've got Matt McGrath here that I'm going to bring up. Matt McGrath. He'll tell me how to say it right. But we're going to bring him on in just a second. And yeah, let's just do it. Let's do our neighborhood check-in real quick. I have to click the button. What is up? We got Emma in the chat, and he was first today, so Emma is the most fun today. Hi, Emma. We've got Chase. I comment on comics here. That is exciting. Yes, Chase, I would love to put the Wave Rider in the neighborhood, so I will be doing that. Let's bring him on. Let's bring on our guest. He is the creator and writer of a Kickstarter comic called ID-10T Error, which sounds really weird, but it'll make total sense once you hear all about it. It's robot related. It's hilarious. It's ridiculous. It's chaotic. I'm really excited to have him on. So please welcome Mr. Matt McGrath. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Did I say your name right, or did I completely butcher it?
Matt McGrath. Yeah, that's how I used to say. If I was a good, Irish boy, I'd say Matt McGrath. That's like the correct way of pronouncing it, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I use the, bastardized North American version of McGrath. So you got it.
We tend to mess things up. So, sometimes we screw things up for the better. Sometimes we don't. So I appreciate you humoring us.
No worries.
So, real quick before we get into it. So the Kickstarter has, 18 days left to go. What really drew you to the comedic line of things?
Yeah, I guess I've always just been drawn to comedy. Like, back in the day, my first kind of artistic pursuit was acting.
Mhm.
And yeah, when I acted, I was always drawn more to the comedy. Like I liked when I did Shakespeare as a kid, I always liked playing, Nick Bottom the Weaver in Midsummer Night's Dream. And when I had to be cast in like the dramas, I was just like, I don't know, kind of bored having to do
Yeah.
those things. But so for this, just the idea itself. So to let everybody know, it's about a dude who creates an AI robot in his basement, just using just the junk that he can find in his house and dump, trash cans around the neighborhood. And the reason that he does this is not because he wants to make, billions off of this scientific marvel, or he doesn't want to better mankind. He just wants to create this thing so he can torture and kill it, and that's it.
Right.
So yeah, but just from there, that situation is just so absurd. So it just kind of lends itself to comedy itself right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a comic that I really wanted to, take too seriously.
Mhm.
It's a disturbing concept, but at the same time, I think like a really funny concept.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's where the comedy of it came from.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say it really looks like he needs to talk to our neighborhood bartender who just voted this week. The thing. So those of you that don't know, on the Twitter every single week we do a little poll to add to our neighborhood. And this week you guys voted a thing, which you let me move that little banner so you can read it. You guys voted him as out of all these choices. Do you think talking to the thing could help this guy in your comic like get it together, or do you think the thing might just have to clobber him a bit?
Yeah, I think the thing he would get frustrated with him and he just boot him out of the
Mhm.
bar. Yeah. Yeah. I think he would start off sympathetic and try and give him a helpful ear, but Bradley, our mad scientist, will not listen to reason, and he's just a big, big jerk. So yeah, he'd
Yeah.
definitely get clobbered. Yeah.
Do you think the thing would be a good bartender overall, or do you
Yeah,
think
for
he
sure.
would end up just hitting everybody all the time?
No, I think no. Yeah, he would be a good bartender for sure. Like
Yeah.
he would know he'd gauge the situation. Like he'd know when he kind of have to throw down and start clobbering some people. But
Right.
I think that's like in the rare instances. Like he'd show some restraint. But overall, yeah, he'd be a great bartender. He'd be jovial, lend a helping hand. Yeah, yeah. I think he'd give some like good deals too. I can see him like doing like
Yeah.
a $2 drink Tuesdays or something like that. Like, yeah, he would.
Fantastic Four Friday, you get 4 drinks for the
Yes.
price of like 2 or something. That would be
Hmm.
a hell of a deal. We would
Yep.
all be drunk all the time probably. That may not be
Yeah.
great for our health, but
And it'd be
a
like a
good one.
really kind of like cozy divey bar. Like it wouldn't be Johnny Storm where he'd create like some
That's true.
obnoxious club. It'd just be like a cool place.
Yeah.
You can have a beer and just hang out with some friends, not like loud music blasting your eardrums out. Yeah. What do we
Yeah.
call it? Blue Ice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
We
I'd
have
go there.
Chasing here talking about rest in peace, slobbering time pet B&B. I think he was saying on Twitter that he thinks the thing would be great like as a pet sitter or a pet walker or something. He can do both. He can have more than one job. Most of us do nowadays. God.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
can
it's
do
his
it.
day job. Night job is bartending.
There you go. See,
Yeah,
he doesn't sleep. He does not need to.
he can do it all.
Yeah.
Yancey
The
Street
Yancey
Pub.
Street
That's
Pub.
good.
Yep. That's it. Yep.
That would
You hit it on
I
the
feel
head.
like that would invite some unwanted. Maybe the Yancey Street gang would kind of just be punking him the entire time. But
Yeah.
he loves Yancey Street, right? He wants to show some Yancey Street pride.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah,
so. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan, but I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
yeah,
Like a big thing in the street.
yeah.
Well, sweet. So we got a little preview about your Kickstarter. So I want to
Mhm.
talk more about it and get more into it. So I have this
Ah,
really kind of fun but silly quick little segment transition I'm gonna throw up real quick. So
okay, let's
let's
do it.
see what this is called. So
I
I
agree.
decided to try something new, especially since we have Thor's our barbecue master and everything. So we're gonna talk about what you're cooking as a creative. We're gonna talk about it. So
Okay.
let's throw it on the screen. So those of you who heard about this, and he's already giving you a little spiel about it. You've got this guy who built this robot, and he basically just wants to torture the hell out of him. That is his goal.
Yeah.
He has no, it's not that he has a nice motive, but he's doing things the wrong way. He's just kind of a douchebag. So this
Yeah.
is for issues
Good
1
ways
and
of
2,
putting it.
right?
Yeah, so issue 1 was kickstarted in 2020. So
Mhm.
it was a digital only release.
Mhm.
So for this one, I really wanted to do a print run for both. So this Kickstarter is kind of going back and raising funds to print issue 1, and it's also raising funds to do the production on issue 2 and print issue 2. So yeah.
That's awesome. And it's so this is the only way that people can get their first prints basically of the first issue, right? Because that was
Yep.
originally printed. So
Yep.
this is
This will be
good
the
for
first one.
people. Yeah, so this is good for people that are brand new to the comic, and also people that really love the first one and want it in their hands. Are
Totally.
you personally a big fan of having them in your hands, or do you prefer digital for yourself?
No, I'm a physical guy. As you can see, like behind me, there's all my long boxes and short boxes and what have you. So I like my physical comics, and in fact, I did like a trial, like a test run for issue
Uh-huh.
1. So here it is. This is what it looks
Oh,
like.
nice.
Yeah, and it's
That looks big. Is that normal
it
size
is.
or is it bigger?
Nope, it's bigger. So this is like your normal size comic, more or less.
Uh-huh.
So as you can see,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
it's a lot bigger. Yeah, this is A4 size.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, like your printing paper is basically the size of that. So yeah, it
That's
looks cool.
exciting. I
Yeah.
really like the magazine format. Like DC Black Label's been using it a lot lately.
Hmm.
I honestly, if it were more budget friendly and if there weren't paper shortages, I would argue that any comic should be made in that format because you just get so much more of a rich experience, I feel like.
Totally. Yeah. Like I'm surprised what the size just does. So it just, I don't know, it just looks better. I can't describe why. It's just a vibe that it gives off or something. The bigger, the better.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I completely agree. And you talk about here how it's a Black Mirror-esque revenge comedy, this Kickstarter. And, we talked about how Bradley is, just wants to torture and kill his robot. But
Mm.
the twist is that this robot gains consciousness. And what's really funny is that when I first read it, you see that, the AR basically thinks it's human first
Hmm.
and then has to basically realize, one, you're living a terrible life. Two, you're also a robot. So what happens from there once he realizes, so I'm a robot and this guy is just the worst being on the planet?
Yeah. Do we want to go into spoilers for issue 1?
It is up to you. That's your
Okay.
call.
Okay. If you don't want to be spoiled, then I don't know, maybe plug your ears for a bit. But I guess the high concept of it is that later on in the story, we find out that the robot wasn't human or was not a human who was turned into a robot. It was originally Bradley's laptop from college that crashed on him.
Mhm.
And it kind of ruined this project that he was working on. He flunked out of this course, and it just from that moment, it's just like his life got totally out of control. It's just a what do you call it? A small snowball effect of everything going wrong. So he couldn't let go of that anger, and of course, like he doesn't have anything to be angry at because a laptop is just nothing. It's just a inanimate object. So that's his motivation. He wants to turn his laptop into a living thing so he can exact his revenge against it. But and then of course, the laptop, the AI, has other ideas, and it ends up kicking his butt in the end. So that's kind of where we leave off. Issue 1, without going to what happens, the AI escapes, and as you can see, here's pages from issue 2 where the AI has escaped into the streets of Toronto, and Bradley's freaking out, and he's trying to go after him, and from there, it's just again a cat and mouse game, but on a much bigger scale, where we get into Bradley's traveling around Toronto, causing havoc and destruction, trying to destroy this thing, and we kind of get
Yeah.
into like more background stuff about Bradley's past, his motivations, a little more sympathetic lens on Bradley, how he actually created this robot, even because he's like not the smartest guy. So we kind of get a little
Mhm.
more insight into that. Yeah, and then that's issue 2. That's without giving away too much.
Yeah, I love how even though, because Bradley is just a straight up asshole, like he is a complete dick, that just wants to torture this AI robot he's built, but it's still so enjoyable to read him. That's what gets me, because in the back of my head it's like, well, this guy sucks, why do I want to read about this guy? But then a page like this where this guy's just running after him, and you've got this huge panel focusing on how he stubs his toe so bad, and you use the word ouchie, which is quite a choice, and it works. It makes it so fun to read, because because it's almost like you can't get enough of watching this guy fail and screw himself over. And so on the one hand, it's like this is a fun ass read. On the other hand, I'm like, am I any better than this guy? Because I'm just liking watching this guy beat the hell out of himself. Like, he's just getting his ass kicked.
Yeah. That was kind of the worry with issue 2, because it's very Bradley heavy. And he's not a good guy. He's not a person you want to root for. Like, you can't really relate to him that much. Maybe a little bit. Maybe we all have our frustrations with technology, but we're not going to take it as far as he does. So I think that's the secret of why it works. Why we enjoy reading him, just because he's such a train wreck, and he just keeps digging himself into a worse and worse hole. And there's a Schadenfreude aspect of it. We just love seeing this guy get his just rewards, and there's going to be a lot of that in issue 2. He's going to get his butt kicked. Plenty.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that, because it's always more fulfilling when you do have that build up to the kicking gas. Because if you just start issue 1 with him getting his ass kicked left and right, and there was no push and pull, like a struggle back and forth, I don't think as a reader it would be as fulfilling. So I'm really excited to see that build up happen. I want to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask with this panel, and you've got Burpo up here. This is an image of Burpo. What the hell is Burpo for people that don't know?
Burpo. He is in issue 1. He's kind of like the Igor to Bradley's Dr. Frankenstein. So he's kind of there toiling away in Bradley's basement, kind of helping out, chipping in. And then in issue 1, he kind of befriends the AI and lends a kind of sympathetic ear and helps him try to escape. So he's basically like a childhood toy, kind of like a Furby or something, and Bradley kind of just experimented on this toy he had lying around, basically to test out his theories about AI, to kind of make a rudimentary AI. Is kind of a proof of concept. So he's an AI as well. He can he can think and feel, but he doesn't really say that much. He can basically just say his name and a couple of other pre-recorded things that he would have said as a child's toy. That's Burpo's deal. And the name I got from, I used to work at a bookstore, and there's a author called Todd Burpo. I think he wrote some Christian book about his son going to heaven or something like that. And I just, like, whenever I put that book away, or whenever I saw it at the bookstore, I just thought Burpo was a really funny name. So
I was gonna say, I'm not sure Todd Burpo will like being tied to this creature, but I hope he does. Like, he should be honored. I mean, look at this little demon thing. Like, why wouldn't you want that to have your name?
Yeah, I think he's cute.
I think he is too. He's cute and terrifying, and I think that's exactly what you want in characters like that.
This is kind of like the cleaned up, nice Burpo, but in our book, the kind of main Burpo is this weird, I don't know, another kind of Frankensteinian creature thing. This weird mangled monster.
True. Well, I was gonna say, everything in this series is weird, and that's in a good way. Everything is wacky as hell. I really was excited when you reach out to me about coming on here, because I know a lot of people that watch us, they like the really weird and outlandish comedic stuff, and this is 100% that, y'all. Like, this is the most outlandish fun book you can find out there. And who's your artist on this? Because the art is really, really great.
Yep. So on line art is Otávio Colino. He's an artist from Brazil, and he's great to work with. Like, as you can see, sorry, gonna burp. Oh, okay, burpo. I burpoed. I think like 90% of the comedy kind of comes from him because he's so good at doing that kind of slapstick physical comedy. Like his facial expressions are
Yeah.
so amazing. And he does this
Yeah.
thing, like if you scroll up a little bit, he kind of does a Looney Tunes thing. So you have these, panels looking normal, just like a regular person, and then a second, like when something extremes happens, suddenly like their eyes will like pop out of their heads or something like that.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of his art, and I kind of really encouraged him to do that as much as he can in this book. Again, just to sell the weirdness of it. And on colors, we have Kay Baird. So I don't know, her colors speak for themselves. They're so unique and vibrant. And Kay Baird is she's also an illustrator herself, and she's working on a book called A Guardian with Easton DeVerna, which is going to be coming out this summer, and it looks amazing. And she knocked it out of the park, especially in issue 1 where you see like in the basement scenes. You have like a kind of monochromatic color scheme with a lot of like reds and blues, and that's pretty much it. And it really kind of sells the weirdness and the tension of the situation and the kind of dire situation that this AI finds itself in. And a lot of that comes from our colors. So great team. And Frank Sekovic also did the letters and the logo, and I don't know what to say. His work is amazing. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, it all looks fantastic. It looks and anytime I can tell indie creators this, I do, because it's a huge deal that this looks like a book that could be published by a big publishing company. Like they wouldn't have to change anything about it. They won't have to change the logo or update it. It looks like this is something that you could get published by Image or Scout or something. Like you guys have done such a great job making it look like its own.
I always say I want to be the least talented person on any team that I'm a part of, and I think I pulled it off here. A lot of really talented people here that I'm working with, so super happy with the team.
Yeah, 100%. And Chase here, I think this is going off your Burpo story. We had a fryer at an old job that on the side, the company named Volrath and the equipment named Frio Later. And I've always thought Volrath Frio Later was awesome. Okay, Chase, see, you can't just give ideas for free. You need to use that. That is actually really good.
That's going to be going to be in issue 3, Volrath Frio Later.
Well, they'll write you a small royalty check. Just have your P.O. box open.
If we ever make any money off of it, I'll send you a royalty check.
It sounds like a Voltron villain. Like, I'm not even a huge fan of Voltron, but that could 100% be a Voltron villain.
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Oh, I did get muted. Haha.
There we go.
So you've got 18 days left on this. Do you know the exact date when the Kickstarter ends?
May 19th, which is a Thursday, I think.
It's right here.
8. Oh, yeah, there it is. 8:05. Wow, that's a very specific time. Okay.
It is.
Hopefully, I pull it through it in those last 5 minutes. Those last 5 minutes are what's gonna do it for me.
You know, people might get on their laptops or their desktops right at 8:00 after work on Thursday. So,
oh my god, I gotta back this.
Right. So you guys are what is that? Almost halfway there. So everybody that is
30%,
watching this,
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody watching
hit 30% this morning. Oh,
nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Well, and I was just saying, everybody watching, you guys need to go look at this on the Kickstarter. It's right here, this name. You guys need to go look at this and back it. You can even if you don't want the print copies, you can get the digital ones. It's like what, $6 our money just to get a digital copy. I mean, you can't beat that. Like you can't beat doing something like that.
All the prices are in Canadian, which is barely money. So I don't know. It's much cheaper in US.
It's like Monopoly money, right, guys? It's basically Monopoly.
Monopoly money. It's not made of paper. It's plastic. It's essentially made for children. Baby money.
Well, I think a lot of us are overgrown children here, so I think it works out perfectly. I think it's gonna be a great time. Is there anything else specifically that you want to mention about your Kickstarter?
Yeah, maybe just like if I can go over a couple of rewards because I think we got some cool
Heck
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
One reward that was pretty popular last time was being drawn into the comic.
Hmm.
So that's a reward you can
Yeah, it
get.
is.
So Octavio will draw you into the comic and not just like appear in one panel and that's it. You'll be a character in the comic. So
Ooh.
you'll have speaking roles. You'll appear on multiple pages. You'll have like motivations and interact with characters and further the plot along. So yeah, I think that's a cool reward. And plus, you get everything else. You get issue 1 in print, issue 2 in print. We also have a print by K Baird that we're offering for free if you back above the print catch up tier. So yeah, if you want to scroll down, you probably have to scroll
Oh,
down a
there's the
lot.
basement stuff. I was wondering
There it
where
is.
these pages
Yeah,
were.
there it is.
We were talking
Yeah, so
about
there's those
her colors
reds,
earlier.
reds and blues I was talking about. I think there's Burpo. Burpo's kind of like the mascot. There we go. There
There you
is K Baird's print, and it looks pretty amazing, I think.
I really
So
like the
see,
purples and reds in there. They look real good.
yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's kind of a scene where Bradley is creating the AI with his handy Burpo. So yeah, so you can be drawn into the comic. We also have, where are they? We have original art tiers, so you can get original pages from issue 1.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, really cool. So their first appearance of Burpo, that could be yours. Yeah, we have 10 pages left, I think, 10 or 11. And yeah, so we're again offering that plus all the other stuff. You get the K Baird print, you get issues 1 and 2 in print. I think you get some digital comics as well. And then the last kind of big thing we're offering is a commission from Otavio. So for $20 more, you'll do a character commission on A4 paper. So again, that kind of printer paper size that you usually see. Yeah, any character of your choice, limited background, he'll draw it up for you. And again, all the other stuff that I mentioned. You get the issues in print, the K Baird print, digital comics, and that's what we got. So good stuff, I think.
I love how in this print, like you've just got him in his socks and like these really lanky slippers. Like it fits just how much he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's wearing all throughout issue 1. And yeah, and issue 2, I think he's gonna run out of the house just wearing his slippers and his bathrobe, and yeah, just run around the city just like that in his pajamas.
I think that's the most relatable thing about him, and he's just in his basement doing weird shit in like the most lame outfit. Because like, who hasn't done something like that?
That's me every day. I work from home, and I work in my Batman bathrobe, my slippers, and my pajamas. Like I put on a nice shirt right now just for this, but below I'm just wearing my pajama pants and my slippers.
Because why not? Like you're not going anywhere.
Definitely not. No, especially not now. I'm stuck here.
Stuck here as long as you're in the neighborhood. Absolutely. Yep. Well, I'm super excited. And honestly, these are really cool rewards. And they're not expensive. Like original art for like $94, like an original page from a comic. You really can't beat that, guys.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous. Usually it's like $500 or more to get an original page. So make sure you all check out the Kickstarter. It's going to be great. I've read a lot of it. It is absolutely worth your money. Whatever you are able to do and want to do, it's 100% worth it. I wouldn't vouch for it if I didn't think it was funny. It is 100% hilarious and ridiculous and rambunctious.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, I mean, if you're on a budget and you still want to check it out, we got the digital catch-up tier for issues 1 and 2 PDF, just for 14 Canadian. So again, child's money. So what is $11?
$11 American.
$10 basically. Yeah.
Barely over 10. I mean, what's another dollar? Like, you can't go wrong with it.
Yep.
So yeah, be sure to check that out, you guys. And since we were talking about your Kickstarter, which is more on the comedic side, I also want to talk about some of our favorite comedic comics in general. So what are some of your favorite comics that really just, at any point can make you, just laugh your ass off, that really kind of inspire you to want to continue doing comedic stuff yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish there was more comedic stuff in comics for sure. I think one of the big ones that I read recently where I laughed my ass off was The Six Sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. It's a mouthful of a
Mhm.
name, but it's by Kyle Starks and Chris Schweitzer. Have you heard of it? Have you read it?
I have heard of it. I haven't read it. One of my friends, Joe, who works at the Wednesday Poll List with me, he's a huge fan of that, and so
Oh,
I've
okay.
heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's awesome. So what's the premise? Basically, a kind of washed up TV actor ends up murdered, and his 6 sidekicks that he's worked with over the years, so sidekicks in like various kind of I don't know, B-list TV shows, kind of team up to solve his murder. They have their own reasons for doing it, even though he was a terrible person. They all hated him. They kind of want to still get to the bottom of why he was murdered. And from there, it's just like it's kind of like my comic. Like it's just off the wall, completely insane things that happen from there. And Kyle Starks, he kind of has a way with swearing, the way that like Tarantino does. Like it's just like poetry, the way he drops his F-bombs and F-bombs. It's just anytime one of the characters swears, it's just hilarious. Just seeing that. So he was a dick to everyone. Oh yeah, totally. Stuntman battle. Yeah, the stuntman. There's a whole stuntman. Komodo is great. There's one line in it where I think it's with Komodo. He's a kid and they're about to do a stunt on a set, and they have to like jump off a building and onto this kind of I don't know, what do you call it, the big soft thing that's going to break or fall, like the big balloon thing. And he's afraid to do it, and Trigger goes like, even a piece of shit can fall into a toilet, and then kind of pushes him off the ledge. So I don't know, I just thought that line was hilarious.
That's fantastic. It's it's really great when just easy puns like that work out so well.
Yeah, and Kyle Starks, he's also a cartoonist. So he did I'm looking at my shelf. I can't remember the name right now. Sex Castle is a really good one. His first big break.
I've never even heard of that one, actually. Sex Castle, interesting.
Sex Castle, yeah, it's maybe a little less known. Like I'm sure he did cartooning before this, but this was kind of like his first thing that really got him a lot of attention, and kind of more work after that. It was a Kickstarter comic, and I think later it was picked up by Image, but it's kind of a homage to the 90s action heroes, just like the completely ridiculous, Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who were totally pumped and kick ass all time and have these like these one-liners that they throw out. So definitely check out Sex Castle if you can.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need to. And Starks has been coming out with a lot of good indies that have been getting a lot of comic fans' attention. So I think he's really making a case for being one of the greater comedic writers out there. And I know he's a big name, but I really enjoy Chip Zdarsky's writing, like just in general. Like even when he's writing something that is more dramatic, he always throws in some dumbass lines that just get you every single time.
Totally. Yeah.
So he's
probably
what's
one of your favorite Chip Zdarsky lines?
I can't think of an actual line right now, but I'm trying to think book wise. Kaptara is one of my favorites. So that's a story of his that he's continuing on his Substack, I believe, which I've not read because I don't pay it right now. But that one's one of the funniest things I've read. And people that know Chip Zdarsky but haven't read Kaptara, I'm like, how have you not even read the first volume? Like, because it's one of the funniest. It's just his sense of humor is so. It's the perfect balance of adult and kid, I think. Even though it's you definitely don't want your kids reading his humor most of the time, but it kind of satisfies both, depending on who you are.
For sure, yeah. I got Kaptara over there. I got to revisit it. I'm sure I'll revisit it. Like he's doing it on his Substack now, but I'm sure once it's done, it'll be published through Image, so I'll probably pick it up then and the second volume. Yeah, I remember the first volume, like at the end of it, there's like this big splash page of all these villains, and it's just like a series of kind of weird, I don't know, gags or whatever. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite pages from Kaptara.
Yeah, and that's why I love throughout. He just him and the rest of the creative team, they just throw that stuff in so naturally that you don't think twice about it once you get through the first chapter of the story or whatever. It just comes through. And Chase here saying he had the best issue crossover. That was a really freaking great issue.
I kind of heard about this. Did he like appear as himself in it?
Yeah, he wrote it himself.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It was crossover in general is very meta, like, and it's supposed to be. It's very in your face about it. But it's one of the most creative like indie comics I've read in a long time in terms of just how original it is and how it knows it's meta, but it will continue being so, and it has no problem with that.
Yeah, the best thing about Chip Zdarsky, he doesn't really do this as much anymore, maybe because he's a bit bigger, but when he was kind of, when he was making it mainstream, I guess, with Sex Criminals, he did like a lot of weird stunts, especially here in Toronto. Like he climbed the CN Tower dressed as Spider-Man once. There was one instance, like there's the biggest convention here in Toronto, like Fan Expo. I think they kind of shunned him, like they didn't invite him or something like that, or something like that. So he kind of created his own convention on the same weekend as Fan Expo called ZdarsCon. It's just like purposely like really pathetic. Like I think for the first ZdarsCon, he just created like this table kind of right outside the convention center and just had like
That's great.
something printed on a piece of paper. The second ZdarsCon, he rented out a hotel and invited guests like a couple up at a time into this hotel room, and he's like in this bathrobe and plugging his stuff. And
Jesus.
I think Ryan North and Brian Lee O'Malley were also in this hotel room with him as part of guests ZdarsCon. So I think he just did two and then kind of called it quits.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe the neighborhood needs to team up with Zdarsky. We'll make it the neighborhood ZdarsCon. He won't know what hits him. He will not be ready at all. And Sex Criminals, I've heard a lot about. So that's one of probably the more mainstream popular comedic comics. And that's something that interests me in general with comedic comics is that they tend to be more on the adult side of things. Like they either go hardcore adult or they're very kiddish. There's not much of a middle, I feel like.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like of a middle of the road comedy book. I guess like all the kind of Marvel stuff are a little bit like the movies. Like they have those kind of gags in it, or they got those comedic moments, one-liners, but I guess you wouldn't really label them a comedy. I'm looking at my shelf. I guess it's just like, even with Image, like, are there any Images books that aren't super adult that just have lots of swearing and violence or sex or something? Maybe there's like the odd one that doesn't.
I mean, there's not a lot. Image definitely. I mean, Boom Studios is probably the closest to a middle we've got right now, I would argue, in terms of overall publisher, because they do a lot of the more YA stuff, and young adult is pretty much the middle, if you think about it, because you can make more jokes, but you also can't go too far without it being more adult.
Yeah.
Not Girl. See, I've seen that. I haven't read that. Is it actually good? Because I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Brian Lee O'Malley, him just writing, but not drawing it. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I think it kind of petered off. Like it's.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to see if Ignacio is right, because I would love to check it out. The Tick is great, 100%. I adore The Tick. I wish he was a bit more mainstream than he is, because he's more like a cult classic, I would argue, nowadays, which is kind of sad. I don't really see
too much Tick anymore, except for that series, which is good, but then got canceled.
Because it was actually good, but it was bye.
Bummer. I think like The Tick comes back every year for free comic book day. I don't know if they're still doing that, but that's like the year only Tick content that you get nowadays.
Again, he's kind of a cult classic, kind of like Rocky Horror for like film people, like very much a beloved cult classic, but if you don't pay attention to it, you won't ever see it. So.
Yeah, I think he's redue for like a comic book renaissance. Like if they came back with another Tick series right now,
it could probably do well if they got the right person to write it. I mean, Zdarsky could write it.
Yeah. So who is the original? Ben Edlund? Like
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he could write it. Like he kind of did The Tick to start off, and then he kind of went off into TV land. Like I think that's his main job right now, is he's a TV writer.
He probably pays better, to be honest.
Probably.
So I can't really fault the guy. Matt, are you Ryan North writing under a pen name by chance?
No, I'm much smaller than Ryan North. He's like 7'2". I'm just 5'10". He's a giant.
God,
Yeah. So no.
insanity. Like,
He
just
has
look
like
at
a much
neck
lighter beard
problems.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has much
So
blonder beard.
yeah,
Yeah.
so many neck problems. Who are some of your favorite comedic characters? I think that's an easier one to talk about, right? Like, we know our funny characters. NB, Marvel, DC, otherwise.
I mean, I love funny Spider-Man. Whenever Spider-Man's
Yeah.
funny, like cracks me up. That's my
Mm.
favorite. Who does a really, Dan Slott had some good funny Spider-Man moments in his run.
Yep.
The one Joe Kelly is really good at writing a really hilarious Spider-Man. There's like a run. There's a small run he did during the Brand New Day era where they did they kind of reinvented the Rhino. Yeah, that was a really good run. That was like, it's just 2 issues, but like they kind of revamped the Rhino a bit, so he wasn't just this big dumb lumbering idiot. He kind of had like a kingpin aspect to him. Like, he was very well spoken and stoic and like very polite, and his motivations for being the Rhino.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't like a bad dude, but he's just like doing bad things because he had to get by.
Yeah.
But yeah, check out that run. It's just 2 issues. It's great. It's got a lot.
Yeah,
of
I was gonna say,
pathos,
that's not even a
emotion.
run. That's just a tiny arc. So I'm
Tiny
all
little
for,
arc, yeah.
2
He's
issues.
kind of got
That's
like a scatter, with the Brand New Day, we're jumping on here and there. Like, people do like a 5-issue arc and then they jump off. So Joe Kelly kind of has like a run if you stitch it together a little bit. Like, he's got that Rhino thing. He did the Craven resurrection thing that happened, and then the American Son with where Harry Osborn becomes like a superhero, like with kind of like a Captain America type superhero dude. But yeah,
sure
anyways,
how that would work. The Osborn.
Yeah.
But the Craven, I mean, Craven's coming to the big screen apparently kind of soon. So there you go.
Yeah.
Maybe they can just use that.
We'll see about
as
that.
inspiration.
We'll see. I don't know. After
We've got-
Morpheus.
Oh God, don't get me started on Morbius. God, that was just so. It's just, again, that it could have been good. The issue was not that it was vampires. It was just terribly written. If that movie came out in the early 2000s with the Spider-Man films, it would be a cult classic now. But it came out 10 years too late. Like,
yeah,
it's not the time. Lobo is always good for a laugh. He is ridiculous and chaotic 24/7, and you have to love the guy for it, even if he's a jerk. Like,
Lobo's a little bit a blind spot. I've not read a lot of Lobo.
He's just fun. I mean, even if you just watch like his couple like animated series appearances, even not in the comics, you get the gist of him, because he's, I don't know, now that I think about it, I haven't read too much with him either, so maybe I'm wrong, but he has a lot of, his personality is pretty consistent throughout. Like, it's hard to mess him up. If you write Lobo wrong, what are you doing?
He's just like all id, just a complete weirdo and maniac causing destruction. And okay.
Yep, 100%. That's him. Yep. But with that said, I think we should play our Who Said It game. We should figure out who said what. Are you prepared for this today, Matt?
Nope. Not after that tweet yesterday. We'll see. I'll try my darndest.
I believe in you. Well, and we've got a couple people here in the live chat that can help you. So
thanks, guys.
Those you in the live chat, help Matt out here. And play along yourself. So we're gonna put up different comedic lines, and there's gonna be multiple choice, so don't worry, you don't have to try to wing it. You're gonna have multiple choice. Yep. I'm here to help.
Thanks.
And you just pick who it is, and then we'll see who actually said it, and I'll show you the panel, so you actually get to see the evidence. I provide my receipts.
Okay.
So number 1, oh, forgive us for being rude. Hi, here, you're safe now. No, please, no need to thank us. So we've got some like multiple personality or something going on, I think. We've got Hulk, we've got Venom, Deadpool, or Two-Face. Who on earth would say something like this?
My gut says Deadpool, unless this is like a trick question. Unless you're trying to pull a fast one over me, and it's like Hulk, but a different personality Hulk. Because, there's so many of those.
Well, especially after Immortal Hulk, like who knows what even is real with the Hulk anymore.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Deadpool.
Deadpool?
Yep. Final answer. Is that show still even on anymore?
It was Venom, actually. Believe it or not.
He was a little kind of smarmier back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
totally.
was, yeah. Almost like an anti-hero, kind of. He's gone back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. I adore his panel too, because if you look at his eyes here, like in that left part, like you can actually see emotion with the way they did the eyes with the symbiote. Like that's really cool to me artistically.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Spider-Man thing where,
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense realistically, but just it works just knowing that it's a comic book.
Yeah. So indie lovers, if you're a really big fan of this one, you should know this instantly. Am I shitting? It feels like I'm shitting. So was it Scott Pilgrim, Susie Dixon from Sex Criminals, Alana from Saga, or Omni-Man from Invincible? It's great because half of these options don't even make sense.
This totally feels like a Matt Fraction, Chip Zdarsky joke. But
it does, doesn't it?
I'm going to go with Alana from Saga.
And yep. Let's see. Anas and Chase agree with you, and you are absolutely correct. If you're a fan of Saga, you should know this by heart because it's like basically how it starts.
Is this her giving birth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. It's true.
Yep. It makes sense. Makes sense if you've done it before. Number 3, I have not done before, guys. So please don't take my word
partner's
for
done it twice, and that's what she said.
There
that's
you
what
go.
It's like.
There you go. Frickin'
Totally accurate.
We just get the best, don't we? It will take more than Tupperware trademark to stop me. Who the fuck would say that? Was it Superman, Nightcrawler, Daffy Duck, or the Vulture?
Registered trademark. Who would?
And that's actually in the text, which you'll see. Like that's what cracked me up the most about it. I was like, they had to put that there. Like what? We've got enough things, Daffy Duck.
I feel like that's the obvious answer.
You don't trust me at all now, do you?
No, you're not going to go with the obvious. I'm going to say Superman. It kind of feels like something. Yeah, it feels like something he'd say.
It kind of does, actually.
It can be a little
the
glib
older comics.
Yeah, like it can be.
But funny enough, this is actually Nightcrawler.
That's so weird.
Isn't it? This is from the Bizarre Adventures number 27.
Okay.
And this was when Dave Cockrum was still drawing him and at times writing him. I don't think he wrote this issue though, but he did draw it. But yeah, like he's fighting the Vanisher. So any X-Men fans, if you kind of remember who the Vanisher is, he's really kind of a punk. Like he's just kind of a lame villain, but he's enjoyable. Yeah, so Kurt's just jumping around and he calls a cauldron Tupperware. Tupperware makes cauldrons?
Not the same. One's plastic, one's steel, iron.
I don't know, man. I didn't know they made that, but according to Bizarre Adventures 27, guys, that is Tupperware. Okay. Tupperware makes cauldrons. Bring them back, Tupperware.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like in the 1700s, a cauldron was the Tupperware of its time, so.
Maybe. This came out in the 80s, I believe.
Okay.
So, don't worry about 700s, 80s, no difference.
Same thing.
Larry, shut your maggoty mouth. I'm trying to slow-mo away from this explosion, and you're killing my vibe. So we have Gertrude from the I Hate Fairyland series by Scotty Young. We've got Harley Quinn. We've got Stanley Ipkiss as Big Head the Mask. And we have, guess who? The Tick.
The Tick. I've never read any of The Mask. I really want to.
Yeah, I haven't either, to be fair.
Yeah. Excuse me. Gertrude.
Gertrude?
Mm-hmm.
You are right.
Got it.
And this was suggested by Emma on Twitter as a comedic comic he liked. So I was like, I have to use that quote. And honestly, when I was going through finding these quotes, I now want to read this series because the colors are great, the art's great, and it's
Mhm.
ridiculously stupid. So
Yeah,
I'm here for
can't
it.
go wrong with Scotty Young.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'd never read this before too. Like it's totally a blind spot. I gotta check it out. Yeah.
So is that your 3 out of 4? I think that's your score. 3 out of 4.
Okay, let's go with that.
Because you got the Daffy Duck wrong. It's 2 or 3 out of 4.
I think I think I got 2 out of 4. I got 2 right.
Okay, you're
I'll
halfway
be
there.
honest. Yeah, okay.
We're in a whole lot of trouble. Get it like a donut? So you got Spider-Man, you've got Jimmy Olsen, you've got Evelyn, the Eye from By the Horns, and you've got Ira, the Eye from Metal Shark Bro.
I don't even know what the last 3 are. Or I mean, the last 2 are. We're in a whole lot of trouble. Get it like a donut? Doesn't seem like a Spider-Man thing to say. I'm just gonna guess. Number 3, Evelyn.
Evelyn?
Yep.
I love Evelyn. She's great. She's not exactly the most punny though, but Ira from Metal Shark Bro is. So this
Metal
is Ira
Shark
right here.
Bro.
Yep.
This
And
art
I
looks
actually
cool.
Yeah, I've got the first 2 volumes as well.
Okay.
It is really metal, for lack of a way of putting it, and rambunctious. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's very bro-y and stuff in a good
Cool.
way. It's the good kind of bro. So yeah, that one's a fun one if
Who's
you
it
guys
written
haven't
by?
read it.
Who's the team? Oh, Scout.
Yep, it's the Scout publisher, and then you've got Walter I can't read that one. It's been a while. Osley. I know the other 2. So Bob France and Kevin Cuff are the main 2 on it, but they're really sweet.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Gotta check it out.
And we've got Are You Talking to Your Ex? I'm Consulting It. This is basically a freebie because you have 2 options and then not an answer and not an answer. So you've got 2 options. It's 50-50.
Okay. So not the answer 1, not the answer 2. Are you talking to me? I'm consulting it. Conan the Barbarian?
So you need to check out Barbaric from Vault.
I've heard of this.
Because it's from Barbaric, yes. So that is Owen the Barbarian from Barbaric. Yeah.
I've heard about it. I've heard good things. I never took the dive.
It's fantastic.
That's
I
cool.
can't recommend it enough. And now's a good time to get on it too, because it's coming back, I think, in a month or so, or this month maybe. So it's coming back pretty soon.
Is it a Vault book?
Yes, it is.
I've never read a Vault book. Can you believe that? No.
You're gonna have to read your first Vault book.
Yeah, I gotta catch up. There's like a discount bookstore with like this like giant comic book section. So one day when I got a little moolah, I want to go there and just like buy a bunch of Vault books for good deal. So
Anas is cracking me up over here going, not the answer is actually Forget Me Not from X-Men. Please. Do you read any X-Men at all, Matt?
Yeah, like I'm reading all the Hickman stuff, or formerly Hickman stuff.
Yes.
So good. Yeah, I read the Bendis stuff, which is good. Had its good moments, had not so much good moments. I'm trying to catch up on I've never read the Chris Claremont original run, so I bought.
Oh my gosh, I
bought
to
the
read
first 4 omnibuses of that. So
yeah,
I'm trying to do a consistent run. Like I want to get those 2 Stanley Jack Kirby omnibuses, and then just read the first 30-20 years of X-Men in one sitting. So that is my goal. But
all right, well, you have to keep us updated because X-Men homework is very serious business.
Good. Yep. And I mean, I like the what do you call it? The Morrison run, of course.
Yep. I actually have not read that one, so I have to do my homework on that. I've not read that era.
Yeah.
Dad, the teacher said to ask you how she got pregnant. She said, it's gonna be very fun when you see the actual panel with this quote. It's gonna be very fun. So Sweet Paprika is from Image, I believe. Sunstone is, who is the guy? Stefan Sejic, I think that's how you say his name. That's a big book from him. You have Sex Criminals, of course, and Did They Make a Maury comic?
I'd pay to see that. And Dad, the teacher said to ask how she got pregnant. I don't think it's Sex Criminals. I'm trying to read like your facial expressions to give me a hint. But you have a very good poker face.
I have a very awkward face. That's how I do it. I just look awkward the entire time, so nobody knows what I'm really feeling.
Okay, I'm gonna go sweet paprika.
You got it!
Yay!
And I absolutely love this panel because the kid's saying this stuff, the dad's losing his shit, and the mom looks like she's ready to stab him. She is ready to rip him to shreds.
I like that face.
Right, and her little what is that called? This thing says Hell Chef. I enjoy that a lot.
Apron, yeah.
Yeah, apron. That word. Yes.
That word.
I was thinking robe. I was like, that's not a robe. I don't know what things are. Yeah, I actually need to try this book again because I think I read the first issue and it was a little too because there's a lot of sex and stuff in it, which I have no problem with, but I like that stuff done a certain way, and it's hard for me to get that in adult comic books. But this shit looks great, so I'm here for that. That's
cool.
hilarious. Yeah, he's a little orange dickhead, but I love him. So we've got Billionaire Island, Spy Island, Jenny Zero, or didn't the Riddler make a great orange joke in Harley Quinn season 1?
Oh, I've never seen Harley Quinn. I want to watch it.
What? Matt,
yeah.
Okay, you got more homework.
It's hard. I can't stream it anywhere in Canada. I have to pay for some dumb streaming service that I don't want to get. So, and I'm bad with computers. I don't know how to download stuff. I'm stupid that way. So I don't know.
We can get you hooked up in a neighborhood. It'll be okay. We'll take care of you.
I've never read any of these books. So another guess. I'm gonna say Jenny Zero.
Jenny Zero, man, you're good at guessing today because you are 100% correct.
All
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so it says, yeah, he's a little orange dickhead, but I love him. Okay, weird, but whatever, babe. You ready? You know it. Let's do this last one. And then it's all sea breeze and cat fleas for me. Love that. Who doesn't want that? That's the life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need to read this one. Joe's a good friend of the show, and he has never stopped talking about Jane Zero since he read it. So,
okay, I got a lot of stuff to check out after this.
Oh, here you go. DC Patrol. Good morning, bud. He popped in and said he took it out of the library. Are you talking about the Harley Quinn show? Because if so, then Matt can go to the library.
Yeah, I got a library card.
So this is the one that was shown on Twitter as a sneak peek. How'd you get so hard so suddenly? Is this a trick or what? So we've got the Joker. We got Spider-Man, we got Lois Lane, and we've got Hal Jordan. The Cove said this line.
This seems a little too crass for Spider-Man to say. It's kind of the innuendo. I don't think is his thing. Lois Lane again feels like the obvious answer. How do you get so hard so suddenly? I'm gonna go the Joker.
Joker.
Yep.
DC Patrol says, "Yep, Harley out of the library." So check with your library.
All right.
Yep. Check that out. I had to keep a poker face for this one because it was. It was Spider-Man.
Okay. I guess it seems innocent in this context.
Exactly. That's why it works, I think, for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I love that one. That was so fun. And the last one. I have dined in the exalted halls of the godly realms. This day I am offered a creamsicle. So, is that Black Adam, Loki, Wonder Woman, or Thor?
Thor? It just seems very Thor-like.
That's very Thor-like?
Yeah, or Loki. I'm gonna go Thor.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep, 100%. It was very hard for me not to deepen my voice. Like, you probably noticed I did that and stopped myself because I was like, damn it, that'll make it 100% Thor. Like, it is a very him thing to say.
But you know what issue this is from?
I don't. I'll double check though. I can double check.
Kind of seems like an advertisement. Like, those ads you get in middle of comics where it's,
it could be
advertising some car or something, or,
a car.
Yeah.
I don't know. There are some interesting moments with some of these heroes. Like, I know it's not from a comic, but I believe in one of the animated DC films, there's a moment where like Wonder Woman like gets an ice cream cone from a kid, or like this other version of Wonder Woman gets it, and she's like Like she all of a sudden loves ice cream, and for like 5 minutes she won't shut up about how enamored she is by the fact that ice cream exists. It's very interesting.
It's good. Ice cream's good. I would be enamored by it if I tried it for the first time too. So very relatable.
Right, 100%. And Wes is popping in. Good morning, Wes. He's he does a lot of really great DC Comics reviews and stuff.
Mm.
And I think earlier, let me go back because I believe I used one from Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Which one did I use from Wes? Yeah, he was the one that recommended Metal Shark Bro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool because I thought Wes just read DC, so it's like, oh my god, Wes, you read other things. That's amazing.
Wes is a man of many tastes. I'm assuming he's a man.
Yeah, I think he is. But if I'm wrong, please correct me, Wes. But that is what I've gotten as well. But yeah, guys, so that was the Who Said It game. So what was your final score? Like 5 out of 10 or something, probably?
Something like that. Barely passed. Which
barely passed.
Yeah.
That's
sounds
okay.
Like me.
You can work on it for a couple of months, come back on the show, we can redeem it. Like you'll be prepared.
Okay, sounds good. I'll read up on my more indie stuff. That's what threw me, I think. All these books I never read.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I had trouble with the game was I was trying to figure out, should I lean more into the big two or should I go more indie? So I tried to do indie this time.
Yeah. You got a range.
The big two get so much attention. Yeah.
They got enough.
They just get so much alright. Well, all right. So let's go ahead and do our last segment of the day, which is our neighborhood huddle. So what are you looking forward to coming up in the next week or so in nerdy world? Anything you have going on? Any other comics or nerdy stuff you're excited about?
My head is completely wrapped up in this Kickstarter. Yeah, so okay, let's put that aside. I think Moon Knight, I'm very behind on Moon Knight, the Disney Plus show, because like I said, caught up in the Kickstarter, so I haven't been watching it. So I think I'm gonna wait for Wednesday and then binge the last 3 episodes. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm super stoked about. Yeah. And then I got a pile of comics I'm making my way through. So every night, like I kind of read a couple of issues. It's a nice treat.
I'm the same. I'll be behind 2 Moon Knight episodes by Wednesday. Because I caught up to 4, I think, and then 5 came out and I heard it was like really intense and like emotional and dramatic. And I was like, I can't handle that this week. I can't do it. So it's gonna have to wait till I have energy. So I'll probably do the same thing and just binge the last 2. I'm interested to see if that's gonna get another season, like if it's going to continue.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe, or he'll just pop up in some other movie franchise series. You never know. Who knows? Loki got a second season, right? So
that's true. Yeah. Well, and I'm interested to see if it continues in TV format or if they'll try to make a movie with him.
Yeah.
Because they did Falcon Winter Soldier, and now Sam Wilson's getting a Cap movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not continuing that. So
who knows? I'm sure he'll pop up somewhere eventually.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
It'd be cool if they did like West Coast Avengers. I could see that being a Disney Plus show.
Yeah, no, that's true. I know everybody's sitting here wondering when they're going to put the team together for this phase. Like everybody's like, "Where's the next Avengers team or whatever?"
Mm-hmm.
But plot twist: it's the X-Men guys. They're coming. You're welcome. Who needs the Avengers when you have the X-Men?
Yeah.
And Anas here saying Star Trek Strange New Worlds in 3 days. What's that? I haven't heard anything about that.
It's it's the new Star Trek show where it's going to be Captain Pike as the main captain. So yeah, the Enterprise just before Kirk came aboard or became the captain. So it'll be Pike and Spock as the science officer, and Rebecca Ramon is number 1 or number 2 or something like that. But they said like it's going to be more of a throwback to the original Star Trek. So instead of like these season-long arcs or whatever, it'll be like each episode is like a self-contained kind of sci-fi story, and then it'll be more classic Star Trek. So
that's really cool. I know a lot of you guys have to be excited about that, especially Nas here in all caps.
Return to the Enterprise.
But that's awesome. I'm glad like Star Trek's kind of getting more footing again, because even if I'm not the biggest fan of it, it's a really great franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So that is exciting to see. But yeah, so those of you that just popped in last second, before we get going, make sure you check out Matt's Kickstarter, the ID-10T Error. Really hilarious, ridiculous, rambunctious comic about a guy who, builds a robot and then decides to torture it, and then the robot decides to fight back. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It's hilarious, though.
It is ridiculous, but that's what makes it so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly what we like here in comics. Well, yeah, Matt, you want to plug yourself? Where can people find you? Anything else you want to throw out there?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is stupid Matt. So that's stupid with 2 O's, STOOPID_MATT. That's kind of the only place I'm online these days. I have an Instagram, but it's like private because I just post pictures of my kids, and you probably don't want to see it anyways. It's boring. It's me being a dad. But yeah, check out my Twitter. And check out ID10T Error on Kickstarter. And 18 days left. We need every last dollar you can offer. So like I said, if you're interested, you can get just issue 1 is also option. So that's just $7 Canadian. So like $5 American or something like that. So yeah, every last bit helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Emmett here saying robot sex ? Would you like to elaborate on that, Matt?
No. No, just robot violence.
Just robot violence. We got Derek here from Weekly Polls. Speaking of robot violence, this is the guy that will read robot violence. This is Derek from the Weekly Polls. Derek, you need to go back this campaign, this Kickstarter, because it's just complete absolute chaos. You've got a guy building a robot, and then he just decides to torture it, and then the robot fights back. I mean, it's fucking hysterical. It's rambunctious. It's chaotic. You got Burpo. Look at this little shit, Burpo. Why wouldn't you want back for Burpo?
Burpo. If I ever do like another campaign, or like if I get far enough and enough interest in it, I'd love to do like a Burpo plushie to see like.
I would love that.
First, like if that's even feasible, cost effective, and yeah, that's my dream, to do a Burpo plushie. So maybe one day.
I think, yeah, once you get this one funded and everything, I think that could be the next Kickstarter, because people love plushies. You'll get people to back just because they want a damn plushie. Like, we're heathens, and we have no shame. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Matt, for coming on. Thanks for playing the game and joining the neighborhood and enjoying the chaos. You guys can follow the show's Twitter at NBHD. Actually, there's an H there. I'll fix that. NBHD Comic Show. Yeah, I make errors. It's fine. I am the entire crew of the show. I'm the tech crew. I am the host. It's kind of a hard job sometimes.
Yeah. You gotta pass.
Look at that. Look, Burpo could be a squishmallow or whatever the hell the kids call them. 100%.
Yeah, sure. I'll have to look up what a squishmallow is, but yeah.
You don't know what squishmallow is? No. They are so soft. That's the best part. They're so squishy and soft.
Are they like big or like small, or just kind of a
I think there's both.
Hand?
Hold on. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. We were gonna move on, but now we've got squishmallows or whatever they're called. So now I've got to show him what they look like.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let me put this up on the screen, because I'm sorry. If you can't tell, I get really excited about fluffy, squishy, cute things.
Yeah,
these are what they are.
Yeah. There's a Lilo or Stitch one. I see. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Look at him. He's so cute. Look at the monocle. I mean, I want to buy that just because of that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. See, there you go. That's your next campaign.
There we go. Okay.
The neighborhood's ready to back it at any point.
Thanks, guys.
And next week, you guys, we will be doing free comic book day giveaways. Talking about Mother's Day. We will have another comic creator guest on, which is exciting. But for those of you that either can't make it to free comic day or you just want to win more free comics, be sure to tune in next Sunday, because I'm going to be giving away a bunch of shit. It's going to be great. We'll be giving away on the air. Oh, look, we got DC Patrol saying dozens of squishmallows. There you go.
Okay.
You have dozens of Burpos.
Okay. Life-size Burpo, or I don't know. Big
How
Burpo.
big would that be?
Yeah, well, I guess life size would just be like that big. So we'd go
Yeah, I was gonna say.
a lot bigger. Man size Burpo.
If a Burpo but Shaquille O'Neal height.
Yeah. That's probably cost effective. I'm sure I could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Look,
I'll
if
figure it
my
out.
parents will pay $40 for a piece of cardboard with Shaquille O'Neal on it, life size, which they have, it's on the other side of this room. I think people will pay for a Burpo that size.
We'll see. I'll run the Kickstarter first and then find out.
There you go. That's exactly it. I'll be the first to back it. I'll be tweeting it every day from the show's Twitter. That's exactly what will happen.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, you guys, for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week.